Hey guys, Stitching May here to do an update video. Oh my gosh, it has been so long since my last video, like last year, and I don't even mean like the tongue-in-cheek, haha, it's been since last year, and like last year was a week ago. Like it is now February the 3rd, and I think my last video was like in November. I'm here now with a lot of stuff to show you, so here we go. Just in case you are stumbling across my video for the first time, my video is about cross stitch and sometimes life updates sprinkled in there and how that affects my stitching. If you are a returning subscriber or viewer, thank you for coming back after I kind of went haywire, not haywire, just kind of absconded for a little while, I guess. So, what have I been up to? Stitching. I have a lot to show you. My Flosstube basket got bigger, and that just meant that I filled it up with more stuff to wait. I have no excuse as to why I didn't do a video. None. Just I felt kind of blah about it. And then the longer it went, the harder it became to do the video, and then it became daunting, and then it just became this whole thing. And then I, to be honest, confession, haven't even really been watching Flosstube. I sat down today for the first time and started clicking on some videos, and as soon as I was seeing you guys' videos, I was like, I need to do a video. It's been a while since I did a video. And the moment I felt that little bit of, I want to do a video, I got up, stopped what I was doing, charged my camera, started setting up, because like I had to put out a different table, you know. Anyway, so that I can do the video, started getting ready, and made it, I'm doing the video today to where I would do this. So here I am. I do not have any of the numbers from 2021, so the stuff up into 2021 is just going to kind of be like, hey, here it is. I may not even insert a picture of where I was before and where I am now, except for the stuff that I've worked on this year. If I have the picture, of course, I'll insert it. I think I may. We'll see. I do have the numbers for 2022, though. My plan, my hope, is to do a video now once a month towards the beginning of the month and have my numbers for each month. That's my goal. However, things go haywire for me, and we'll see what happens. Usually my plans are like, if I plan it, it's not going to happen. I feel pressure and then it doesn't happen. Let's go ahead and comment on the elephant in the room here. My cat understands not to bite the hand that feeds him, but apparently not to bite the face of the person that feeds you. We were cuddly. Everything was great. He got done and he bit me. And like, it was a legit bite. It's looking better. I mean, it wasn't like, you know, the worst bite ever. I'm sure a cat bite can be a lot worse, but he got me pretty good. We had a discussion, and I threatened to remind him of where he lived before. You're going to go outside and be outside. He did not. He's still inside. And now he's, oddly enough, it's like he's apologetic and he's super cuddly now. I don't know. We'll see. It comes in fits. He is definitely living up to his name, Vader. He is a jerk sometimes, most of the time, but we tolerate him and he's ours. You may hear him. He is very curious about all the stuff that is coming out and has been wanting in here, but I've locked him out because his favorite place, normally his cat tree, is right here, and I've scooted it over, and this window is normally open so he can look outside. Usually if I lock him out, he gets mad and he scratches at the door until I let him in. We'll see if he'll let me make the video. So, without further ado, let's jump into my stitching. So see, I do have my stuff. This is a small little planner that I got at like the bargain store. It is made by Willow Creek Express, and this apparently, I got it because I like the color. Apparently this is supposed to ward off evil, so I'm hoping that this will help my stitching this year. It has a month layout for each month. Oops. And then it has the weekly layout for each week. And what I do is I've gone through and marked starts, almost like the Book of Days, but not quite as fancy. But I keep a running tally for each month. And this is what I plan to hopefully be able to keep up with my numbers with you guys. So we are like 5 minutes in and I haven't shown the first bit of stitching. So let's just jump right in. let's start with stuff that I worked on. So that was this year. I'm going to start with the stuff that I worked on the last time was last year. So see, most of it was stitched on this year. Most of my stitching towards the end of the year, oddly enough, was just on Starry Night and my birth sampler, which I've not worked on this birth sampler this year. Shh, don't tell my whip managers. What's this one? Oh, that one's from last year. Let's see here. See, most of this is from this year. My son is doing his piano lessons. Not his lessons, I apologize. He is practicing his piano. So everything else is from this year. Hasn't worked on it this year. Let me just turn this way. That'll be easier. Maybe everything won't go sliding out. Okay, so, you know, I decided this time with my videos, it's going to be real. You're going to hear zipping and crinkling. You already heard that. But I'm not going to put so much pressure on taking out all the bloopers. If there's a blooper, there's a blooper. So, this stuff was all worked on only in last year. I don't know the numbers. I don't know if I have a before picture or not. If I do, I'll insert it. Again, I'm not going to pressure myself. So, this is Cross Stitch Quaker. Really quick. So, this is a free pattern online. I think it's from Needle Press Designs. Maybe. I'm not sure. It's a freebie. I'll try to remember to link it below. All that I have is the actual pattern. There's not a mock-up. So, really quick. That's what it will look like. I'm stitching this on a piece of fabric that was passed on to me by the lovely Emily. Guys, I've had a cough. I had a cold last week. Now I've got the cough. It's not a primary cough. It's not from my lungs. It's from the drainage. Okay. As you can see, she had stitched part of a design on this corner and decided that she did not like this fabric, would not stitch on it. So she handed this down to me, and I've now stitched this Quaker on it. I've got the border done and one of the motifs, and my border lined up. I'm excited. Once I finish this, I will go back and frog this out and save the other side of the fabric for something else. I don't know what color this fabric is. I think it says Weigart. I think it's one of their, like, you know, the ones they have that are just, they're not hand dyed, but you can just buy the fabric and it's already that color. Yeah, that made sense. It comes from them this color. It's not like a specialty dyed. I'm doing this in the ecru. And there we are. That's all that is. Exciting, right? This is in a small little bag that I got at Hobby Lobby with bobbins and thimbles on it. Okay. Next thing from last year, I worked on Bright Be Thy Chrismtastide. This is a piece that was in a Christmas book that Emily and I both fell in love with. We started this together. Threadwork's Primitive is who it is by. You can now get the pattern, I think, on their Etsy site. Of course, this is a black and white. I just made a working copy. But it will look like this when it's finished. It's some of those kind of little row houses. This is in the Cross Stitch Christmas. It's the Better Home and Garden, the Cross Stitch Christmas. You know, the little ones that they... So just I'm going to show you the pattern. That is what it will look like. I stitched this up in the called for colors, except for a few that I had to sub. Did I write in the ones that I subbed? Did I forget to do that again? I ran into an issue where I couldn't remember which ones I had subbed. And I was going to write it down and I forgot. And I think that I forgot again to write which ones I had subbed. Anyway, this is the colorway that I'm working in. These mostly are Weeks Dye Works and Crescent. Let's see, there's some Weeks Dye Works, some Gentle Art, and some Crescent Colors. There were two that when I went to the Stitchy store, they did not have them. And that was back when it was really, really hard to find certain flosses. It's still hard to find some flosses, so I subbed my own. There they are. If you're interested, I will let you know. It was like a green and a gold that I subbed. So I want to say it was this. The caper was called for. Yeah, I have to close one. Okay, Oscar was subbed in place of Olive. Pretty true there. And then Aged Pewter was subbed in place of Toasted Barley. Can you hear my husband singing? He's gonna die if that's on the video. And this is where I currently am. This is on a piece of just plain Witchelt fabric. It's that wonderful, super stiff Witchelt that some of you guys hate, but I do not mind. I finished out the wording and this little motif here, and then started in with the first part of the snow on the roof. And guys, seeing this makes me want to stitch on this again. I love working on this piece. Even this fabric, even though this fabric is stiff as everything. But there that one is. And this, accordingly, is in a Momly bag. I happen to know the creator of the Momly bags. There it is. Okay. I'm having to keep my piles separate because once I've got a whole plan. When I finish the video, I'm going to take pictures of the ones I've worked on this year. That way I can update my album. Because I'm trying to have... Anyway, I'm trying to keep up better with my stitching. The next one was a new start right at the end of the year last year. This is the Prairie Fairies. So, funny story, I was looking for these on eBay. There were only these 4 that I saw. They were individual pieces. Searched and searched, had found some, was having a hard time finding them. Didn't tell anybody about them because you know what happens in this community. If you mention you want something and it's a unicorn, either somebody tries to send it to you or either everybody wants it. One of two things happen. So, I found... As I was searching for them, all of a sudden, like, I clicked one day, because I had it in my eBay saved searches, and I clicked one day, and all of a sudden I saw this pamphlet, and I'm like, what in the world? And I had messaged, is it Hoffman, I think, that has them now, or whatever, and today, if you guys have these, is there any way I can get them? They never responded, but then, like, 6 months later, this was out in pamphlet form, so I'm going to take credit for that. Had nothing to do with me, but I'll pretend. So what I did is I went ahead and bought all the fabric, because I don't know when I'll finish them, and I went ahead and cut the fabric and serged the fabric. So this is a piece of fabric that came from Hobby Lobby. They actually have some Zweigart fabric at Hobby Lobby now. They've got 3 colors. There's a rust color, a mustard color, and this, I think it's called Spa Blue. And I got enough to make all of them and then one extra because it's 32 count, and on 32 counts, one piece of fabric, you can stitch 2 of these on one piece of fabric. So I got 3 pieces of fabric, so I've got enough to make 6. And there's only, no, 3, 2, 4, 6, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, math. So, the first one I've started is this frog. My husband's friend was over at the house when I was serging the fabric, and he was laughing at me because I was cursing my machine, and his mother is a seamstress, and I don't think she cusses the way I do when she sews, and there was some laughing going on, and then I asked him which one I should start first, and he said the frog, so that's what I started with. I'm stitching this in the called for DMC. I just literally kit this up like it was all one project, so these are all colors for all of them. I need a new, look, it's broken. I need a new gray board. this is for all of them. I'm using the floss tags because I've started making my own and I'm now addicted to this way. This is where I currently am. I started the fairy dude. I've got his hat, which I feel like, so it is supposed to be a hat, but it reminds me of like a starfish stuck to his head. I don't know why, but that's what I think of when I see this hat. It's like he's riding this frog and the starfish has slapped him in the face, and there it is. Do you like that good southern slap? Slapped him in the face, and then he's just there. But that's what I've done on that one. Amy loves toads. There's a toad and a starfish apparently. And I do have working copies, but I do keep my my original with this one because it's not gonna last to be given away, I don't think. I will tell you, if you get these paper pamphlets from Prairie Schooler, they do not photocopy well for a working copy. And I think they do that on purpose because people have stole their stuff in the past. However, if you go to Staples or your Kinko, you have to use Staples, a copy machine place that has the industrial copies, and you turn the contrast up all the way, you can get it to where you can see the grid lines. However, it then is very obvious that it's a copy, which is good. So, there's that. So then you have your working copy and people can't make illegal copies. So that works out perfect. Okay, so that is everything that I touched last year that I haven't touched this year. Some of this stuff I've touched this year. But, oh wait, I had one finished last year. I forgot. Let me show you that. So my husband is mildly obsessed with the whole Bigfoot lore. He loves watching all the documentaries on Bigfoot and all that stuff. I saw one of my friends on Facebook had stitched this, and as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, I've got to stitch that for Scott. I asked her where she got it. It was on Etsy. I'll link below. It was a SAL last year, a Cryptid SAL for, you got ornaments, cryptid ornaments. They had like all the different monsters, and you could do the whole SAL, or you could order the ornaments piecemeal. And I just ordered this one ornament. It is Bigfoot, and he is hanging his stocking over the fire. I have finished this guy. Love it. It was so fun to stitch. My son picked out the fabric. This was a piece of random fabric that I think came from a stitchy box that Miss Connie didn't want and gave to me, I want to say. He picked out the fabric, which worked out perfect, because that's like the perfect night sky. You know, and you expect wherever Bigfoot is to not have a lot of light pollution, so you expect to get those rich, dark purples and stuff in the sky. So when I showed it to him, my husband said I could not make it into an ornament for it to only go on the tree. He wants to find a round frame and frame it and keep it in his office area, even though it's Christmas. So, it's not fully finished yet, and it won't be fully finished in an ornament. Okay, with that said, projects worked on in January. I don't think you guys care about what order I stitch them in. I mean, I can do that if you want. I'm in a group called Hell's Stitching. Oregon Stitching and Trail is no more, but Hell's Stitching is there. I'm on a family with Vickie, Vic, Rita Marie, and myself, and that's helped me get a lot of stitching done. I also had, so that's helped a whole lot. I'm also in the mystery version, Magical Stitches Mystery Year. We're doing the Amanda Lee Cozy Mystery Needlework Mysteries books, and that's helping. We've really started getting into the actual tasks this month because we didn't do a book last month, so we just kind of had bland tasks this month. We actually have the actual tasks, and then with some friends and I are doing kind of a challenge amongst each other where we have prompts and we try to stitch on stuff to encourage each other to stitch. So I've got several little things going to get all my stitching done. So I thought that I was paying attention and that I was going to notice before my camera turned off, but apparently I was not. So it rudely interrupted me. Now that I think I can edit it back to where I finished talking about kind of the groups, and let's just jump into my stitching for the new year. So far this year I've had one new start and one finish. So one of the things that my friends and I are doing is like, we have to earn our new starts by doing finishes. So I had one new start that we got free for a new year, new start. And then I've had one finish, which means I've still got a start saved up. I'm trying not to let it burn a hole in my pocket. So this is a piece that I started many years ago. I say many years ago. It's not Starry Night. Don't get excited. I started it for a coworker, and that coworker no longer works with us. So then it kind of languished for a while. And I literally... my whip manager, Belinda, is like, you have like 2 hearts. You have to finish that. So I finally finished it. I have no clue what I'm going to do with it, but it's Pugs Not Drugs. It was from an Etsy seller. I don't even know if they're on Etsy anymore. But I finally finished this poor guy. The dog has been customized. I don't even know where I messed up. I can't tell where I messed up. I know I messed up, but if I can't tell, I know you guys can't tell, so I'm not going to search for it. This is stitched on like plain, I want to say 14 count Ada 3/1 because I wanted it to be thick. But there my one finish of the year is. Okay, one that I worked on at the end of last year because I started it before the end of the year. However, where is it? Did I not? Uh-oh. Awkward intro number 3. So anyway, I started this at the end of last year. It is by Wolfpack Creations. It is a Sal. It's the horror movie Sal. There are so many R's in that word that so it is a mystery Sal. However, she did go, if you want to look for the spoilers in her Facebook group, I'll link below. She did go ahead and list out the movies in case you knew there was one that you didn't want to do. Now, it doesn't show what each piece is going to be. You just know which ones they are. And you don't know which order they're going to be released in. So far, I have stitched Scream, Carrie, Jeepers Creepers, and Amityville Horror. I am caught up. I'm staying caught up. Not going fake wood. In this Sal, that's my goal. So here it currently is. This is stitched on the remnant of a piece of, I want to say hands dyed hexing by Fabrics by Stephanie. I also have Dinah's The Trick on the other part and another little section to save and stitch something on. She has since, because of some stuff with the director of Jeepers Creepers, she has made a version that doesn't have Jeepers Creepers in there if people want to not stitch Jeepers Creepers. I left Jeepers Creepers because it was a date night for my husband and I when we were dating, and I liked the movie, so I left it. But this is it. It has lots of DMC. A lot of DMC. Pretty colors. And it's fun. I am really shocked at how much is stitched. So I don't know all of the numbers because I've stitched on it some in February. I do know in January I put, which did not include the Amityville Horror one. So up until the Amityville Horror, the Scream, the Carrie, and the Jeepers Creepers was 908 stitches. I want to say there was like 900 stitches in Amityville alone, but we'll talk more about that next month because I want to say there's like 925 in Amityville Horror alone. Because that one had a lot of, the roof like was a lot more than it looks. Like it's only 3 rows, but I mean that's a pretty long, I mean that's as big as most of the piece is, so. But there that is. And I forgot another piece. Guys, I'm horrible. So horrible. I'll show that one after everything else. I'll go through these first because it'll be time to do a pause then anyway. The newest start is one that I started with Emily. Guys, look at this bag. My friend Chelsea made this and sent this to me for Christmas. It's got all these little dragonflies on the front. See them? And on the back. See them, see them, see them? The little light imprint. And the inside has got this beautiful turquoise and purple dragonfly fabric. This is a gift. So, My Early Days by Plum Street Samplers. This is my working copy. This is what it will look like when it's finished. Love these turquoise flowers. Love the big house. Like it's definitely, the colors of turquoise and stuff are me. The big house is Emily. The sampler is Emily. The sampler is me. This is a great new start for us. Oh, sorry. I just realized that's showing one butterfly pattern. I am stitching this in the called for colors because the wonderful Emily gifted me the pattern and the floss. And I'm stitching this on a piece of color and cotton. What is the name of this fabric? I had it. Oh, it is Tuscan. It was the December 2021 fabric of the month. It's a 36 count Tuscan. I will probably have more than I need for this piece, which is fine. So I'm stitching it at the top to where I can cut off at the bottom if I have more later. And this is where I currently am. Guys, this was a new start in the first week of January. And I've gotten that much of the border done. The border, I had problems with this border. I kept miscounting. I was also watching The Hunt with John Walsh. So I think I was getting distracted by my true crime stuff. I probably need to put the true crime junkie minder on this one instead. But, so I put in 746 stitches on this one. This so far. This last month. Guys, I'm even keeping up with how much I put on each project. My organization so far this year is great. We'll see how quickly that burns out. Okay, that one I had to take a picture of. Okay. Starry Nights. So I worked on some of this last year and some of it this year. This is one of my Whip Manager's pieces. I'm supposed to work on 200 stitches every week. That's not always happening. So this year, so right at the end of last year, I actually finally finished off the top half of the pattern. Got all those ninja stitches done. And I'm now using I'm calling it the Belinda method, where you start at a square and you pick the upper rightmost stitch and you stitch that kind of cross country to you run out, and then you pick up the next one and stitch the next one. That way it doesn't get the blocks, but it also is not all cross country, but then I'm not parking either. So I literally only have this little bitty tiny section to stitch on. And I will be done. And it's so much easier now that I don't have all the ninja stitches everywhere. I don't hate this piece anymore. I don't dread picking it up. I haven't picked it up recently just because of all the other things I've been stitching. But it's not like I dread it. In fact, my plan is to tonight work on this for my 200 stitches. Once I put the current project that I'm working on away. Which you won't see that one because I'm not going to show you that project until next month. But literally, that's all I have left to do. I'm so excited. This month, I put in, in January, I put in a whole 412 stitches. So I did not make my 200 a week goal in January. I plan to do so this month. But literally, it all fits on one Q-snap. Like, I can put this on the Q-snap and see all the area that I have to stitch. It is so close, I can taste it. So, and that stays in this bag that was a gift to me from the lovely organic granny. Yes, Lori, you need to do videos again. It's got this beautiful dragonfly fabric on the inside, this wonderful bright green fabric on the back, and I like it because it holds my entire folder with the pattern and then all the flosses. Okay, let's see. This is one that, again, isn't SAL with Emily, but this started in 2020, the year that I started all the things. And I'm using this now on Pattern Keeper, so it stitches up a lot faster. Random thread there. This is stitched on a piece of, I want to say Wiltshire fabric again. It is my Beachcomber by Carolyn Manning Designs. Do I have a front page? Yes, I do. I changed some of the colors in it because when I looked at this online, I saw the browns. And as you can see, it printed off browns. But when you pull the flosses, some of these browns are more pink. And I didn't like the pink, so Emily and I sat down virtually and picked out some browns. I can tell you, let's see here. See, it's almost more, I don't know. It's a cross between those two. The colors I exchanged, the 152 I changed for a 452. The 223 I changed for 3861. I say do you like how I'm claiming that, Emily? For 407 we changed to 841, and for 632 we changed to 839. Again, if you want these listed below, ask and I'll list them or write them out somewhere. But this is Beachcomber. I'm sure I have a before picture. I forgot to indicate when I'm putting those up. I did 850 stitches on this one last month. And it is so much fun on Pattern Keeper. I again have been doing the Belinda method, where I find the square, stitch them all out, and then keep going. These are big blocks of color, so there's not much ninja stitching anyway. This is a needle minder. I'm not sure where it came from, but it may be from Emily. And that is it. Oh, I threw my bag over there. Not that. Again, this is not in any order. I just have the stuff written down here. I pulled this out for my most colorful whip for mystery year, because I have so many DMC in this thing, it's ridiculous. And I only pull out the DMC that I'm working for the current block. This is my Village of Hawker and Hollow. I had not touched this piece. I got overwhelmed. My goal in 2020 was to stitch a block a month. Right. I would not stitch on anything else. These blocks are huge. I've already messed up and did not put a space between my blocks. As you can see, it's fine. I left it. And then the fact that Isaiah was misspelt bothered me. And I just put it down and never touched it. So this time when I picked it up, that's the first thing I fixed, is I tried to correctly spell Isaiah. And then it was the wonderful 18,000 back stitches. So when I count back stitches, two back stitches count as one stitch, because you do like a cross. So I had put in on this one a whole 228 stitches. That is all of the name Isaiah, some of the color in the stained glass windows, and then all of those flipping back stitches. I feel like there was more than that. Maybe I stitched on this some last year too. Maybe I got this out twice. I think I did. I think I got this out twice. I had to have gotten it out twice, because there's no way I only did 228 stitches on that. Yeah, I must have worked on it some in 2020. Okay, this one snuck in. I'm not working on this one yet this year. However, I'm so close to being done. I meant to show this one in the... My floss just fell off the table. I'll get it in a minute. Vader's not in here to attack it. I don't know how many stitches. I've only got one color left to do in this one. Some back stitching, and then the personalization. The personalization has got me like frozen. I'm really worried about putting the name in and getting it correctly, lined up. It is my birth sampler. I have to go in and do the white for the stars, and then some of the back stitching, and then at the bottom I will insert my nephew's name and his stats, and I'm pretty much done with this. However, for whatever reason, the thought of personalizing it has frozen me in time on this piece. I've got to just buckle down and do it. Because that's supposed to be another 200 a week pattern. But I don't know that I have that much stitching left on it. Just got to get it done. And of course, this is in a bag from StitchNButton Star Wars. Because his birthday was on Star Wars Day, May the 5th. May the 4th. Next, Tree of Hope. It was the piece that you've not touched in the longest time, which for me is Tree of Hope. Do I have the finished, what it will look like when it's finished in here? Checking my time. I do not. This is not the right one. That one was a new start last year too, that I didn't show you. So this was a gift from Belinda for Christmas. She had it hid up for me. This is my working copy. This is Glendon Place 256. It is called the Sunflower Mandala. Love this. Love these colors. She gifted this to me. This is a last minute start in 2021. I've got it on a piece of Wiltshire fabric, and I've done all of this little star. Guys, the funny thing is when I first started doing this, the yellow reminded me of the Walmart star, because I had just done the yellow first. I made myself go in and do the green to where it didn't look like the Walmart star. And then I've got a little bit of the brown in for the next part, like a whole 2 stitches. Yeah. This is stitched in the Called For Silks by Dinky Dyes and the Mill Hills. I did have to order a couple more just to make sure I had enough, because I'm bad to overuse my floss. But there that one is. Now then, Tree of Hope. Those are both Jan's necessity bags, I believe. And I still do not have what it will look like when it's finished. Tree of Hope, I've put in 305 stitches this month. I've finished out some of the bottom of the canopy of the tree down here, the dark green. And that is where I currently am. That's it. Just 305 stitches of dark green. But I fell in love with it again and can't wait to stitch it again. Nope, that one goes over here. I need pictures of that one. Organized chaos, guys. Organized chaos. So, the next one, with my friends, we decided to pick one piece that would be an unofficial SAL. You took a piece and you divided it up for each month. And then once you divided it up, you stitched on that section for that month. You can be behind but not ahead, which works for me because I'm always behind on my stitching. I chose Yellow Submarine by Blackbird Designs. Again, this is one that Emily graciously helped me kit up in my own conversions. They're colored and cottons. I'm not going to give you the conversion because some of these, even some of her color and cotton that I have, I'm in the original thread club. So some of them she doesn't have anymore, and I don't want you to fall in love with it and not have it. We sat literally at a restaurant and picked out the colors in the middle of the restaurant. The waiter thought we were crazy. Jim and Scott were gracious enough to sit and talk about guy stuff while we played with Floss at the dinner table before the food got there. They were even hungry and sat there quietly while we worked on this. So, the part that I worked on, I came on down. I've put this in there's a pattern, not pattern keeper, but a pattern reader that Vic told us about in the group in Virtual Stitches. And you can take your own pictures and then you can mark it off as you go. So that's what I'm using. And I've even highlighted where the sections are to where I know which area to work in. And then I was able to trace it down. I came on down to the to work on the sub. This top border is completely finished. And then I worked on this flower pot and this sub. I've got some more to do. I purposefully left off stitches so that, because like one block up here is not quite 100 stitches, and I need to add to where I get at least 100 stitches on it when I work on it. But there, that is. This is on NY Nix fabric from Under the Sea Fabrics, NYXS. It's a 32 count. I can't go any higher on this dark fabric with that. And yellow sub, I put in 616 stitches on. That includes like 118 that I frogged, because there were 118, but that sub was in the wrong spot, and I had to frog them, and I had done so much that I double counted those stitches. Don't always do that. That was a big enough chunk that I double counted those stitches. Let's see here. Is that everything except for the one I have to go get? Nope. Another one that I worked on just this year was a monochromatic one. I pulled out my Zimmerman coverlet, which is done by the Modern Folk Embroidery. It was modeled after Ellen Reed's family coverlet. It's supposed to look like this. It's a one pattern repeat. I have printed mine to where I'm going to just do this middle section like this instead of the whole repeat. This is on a piece of flax, 36 count flax linen, I think. I don't know. It's some no name linen I have. I'm stitching it in DMC. I don't know what color it is. 3861, I want to say. Yeah, I'll tell you. Ooh, not even close. 3847. I picked this because I don't know why. This binder just made me think of how I look in most of mine and Ellen's video chats sometimes, because my hair is always crazy. I finished out most of that motif. Loving working on this. This fabric's very tight, so it takes me a little while to get into the stitching on it, only because the fabric's so tight. I put in 1013. Yes, 1013. I was even in the middle of the will catch the laugh in that. On that before that piece, the fabric was driving me bonkers. 1013 stitches on that one. And that's everything that I need to show you for this month, except for the one that I have to go get. And this is the perfect time to turn off the camera anyway, so I'll be right back. Okay, like fifth and final awkward intro, maybe? So some of you may or may not know that last year at the end of the year, I became obsessed with the Prairie Schooler Santas. I realized that the first Prairie Schooler Santa, I'm about to throw my age out there, was issued in 1984, the year I was born. So then I was like, I've got to have them all, because that'll be one for every year of my life, right? So I then became obsessed with scouring the internet and finding them all. I finally, with the help of Vic at a store, online stores, 1884 Stitchery, eBay, I now have them all. So, of course, I started with 1984, which is this one. And these have become my to-go pieces. The fun part, on top of not being able to find the fabric, I fell in love with 25 count even weave from Brenda and the Serial Starter, Brenda and Laura. Because one of them had done a Prairie School over 25 count fabric, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's perfect. It's so tiny. It'll make perfect size ornaments. And of course, I fell in love with some new summer khaki, which is no longer being made. They have every other color but the new summer khaki or whatever. So then, not only was I having to find fabric or pieces, I was having to find the fabric as well, because I had like enough for half of them for the fabric. And I didn't want to not use that fabric, but then I didn't want to have all different colors. I'm probably going to have some that are different colors. It's going to be okay. I'm just going to have to let it go. But anyway, this has become my to-go project. So what I did is I have enough fabric already cut and serged for all four of these. And then I have all the floss for these 4 in my to-go bag. Once I finish this one, because I have a start saved, it's the right size, I will be able to start the second one, which will be 1985. I say that because I'm pretty darn close to a finish. Now, this one was stitched on last year too. This year, I have put in 729 stitches in this project. I don't know how many total I've done because, like I said, I've stitched on it some in 2021. This is where I currently am. Yes, I am a horrible person and I'll leave this on a hoop. Guys, this hoop, I got it. It was gifted in me in a lot of stuff. I have no clue. It's made in Korea. I have no clue the brand. It's a spring hoop. But look, it's like attached. Unlike the other ones that I have that like spring off everywhere, this one is attached. And I love it. And I found some of them on Amazon. But I need to get more of them. I need to get a couple more because I'm afraid they're going to, like, it's just like the other ones. It's just got this little piece that kind of keeps it from flinging across the room quite as easily. But this is my to-go piece, and I'll touch on my to-go stuff in a bit because I do have some life updates to share with you. But I'm loving stitching this. This is perfect to stitch on the go. It's got big blocks of colors. It's small, but not but because it's even weave, once you get it going, it's fine. So there that is. This is the bag that the coworker made for me that made me do the Pugs Not Drugs. I've got my little, these are all my little extra things for on the go. I've got pencils and needles and scissors in there. This goes in all my to-go projects. So with that stitched on, that gives me a total of 6,010 stitches for the month of January, guys. I'm so excited. That's like half my stitching for 2020 and 2021 individually, not together. But I really have been stitching a lot more and I've really enjoyed it. I'm enjoying stitching again. I had just kind of got, and that's why I wasn't showing as much stuff. My stitchy bug is back. Let's hope it stays. So, let's do a quick life update and then I'll do my haul. I don't have a whole lot of haul. Well, I do, but I don't. And it's from this year and last year, so just know that. The life update, the to-go project. As some of you guys know, I'm a nurse, and I worked in the float pool area. It was just a high pressure job. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the bouncing around. However, a position that came open in my old unit for my inpatient rehab, and I'm back working at that area. It's a therapy floor, and it's not as high pressure. Hopefully our patients are more stable, and I actually get to take a lunch. So I get to take my to-go stitching to work and stitch on it at lunchtime because I actually get a lunch. So you may even see some more stitching this year because of the job change. I love it. I have no hard feelings against the float pool people when I left. I told them that we're all on good terms. Still working with the same people here and there. I miss the therapy floor and seeing people get better. We won't get into that because that was a whole other thing. Anyway, on to haul. So most of my haul is going to be my fabric of the months, which will then show January, November. Yeah, November since my last video. That was the December one. Okay. And then I used some of those threads. Okay. No, here it is. So, November, December, January. Yeah, 3 months since my last video. I have my fabric of the month and my thread of the month from Color and Cotton. The one from November was Eggnog. Guys, look at that. That is the perfect neutral fabric. It's just lightly mottled. Love it. And then the threads for November, I'm in the Primitive Neutral Club. Whoops. I think I pulled one of these out for something, so. We have Cinders, which is this beautiful blue-black color. Winter Eve, which is more of a blue color. chocolate cherry. Look at that. Honey amber. And then sampler peach. I swear I saw the word cinders somewhere. Oh, it's the black. I'm an idiot. But you love me anyway. There they are. And then, now I can put these into my stash. Oh, she's now got that. Look at that. She started putting in the DMC close equivalent on there too. So December was the Tuscan that I used for my early days. We have Winter Prairie, which is similar to 353. Sweet Potato, which is similar to 322. Kalamata, which I think I already have one of these, which is similar to 147. I'm starting to repeat, but I don't care. French Gray, which is 119. And Oregano, which is 222, close to 222. But as you can see, it's variegated, so it's not real close, but that's the closest that you can get. But that helps when you're buying stuff online, because you can say, okay, it's kind of this green. January was this beautiful chamomile fabric, 36 count. I get the 36 count, 17 by 26. That's what I've thought. It's this wonderful brown fabric. Guys, our colors, I cannot love our colors. And then look at these. This is the January floss of the month. Again, I get the primitive pack. This is loaded. She does not have the colors on this one. On that one. Oh, that's a special edition, that's why. Almond Latte, which is similar to 006. So because it's a special edition, she won't keep it, so she didn't. Brass, which is similar to 040. That's like the perfect brass color. Whiskey, oh my gosh, 400. Dark Indigo, guys. I can't even. 087. Look how pretty that is. It's got a purpley hue to it, too. It's amazing. Indigo, you know, the color that we can't really see, so we can't really describe it, right? And then she had some special edition flosses that were getting low in stock. And of course, because they were special edition and low in stock, I had to have them. These are slate. I've had slate and used slate before. It's a beautiful, perfect gray. It's very similar to like, this, is it the, I can see the color DMC. But it's got just a slight variegation in it. Winter Eve. Look at this blue. Why? I don't know why these are going away. And then the amazing weathered pine green. Those all can now be absorbed back into my stash. I say these bags. I have a mess. I've got to finish this video, make dinner, and then clean up this stuff, and then edit the video. These are some of the extras that I got anyway, I'll show you. Just know that I got this week's Starryworks Red Rocks. Got that from Gear On tote bags, as well as some clamps. And then I purchased from Fire Poppies this hazelnut, which will go with this one. Juniper, which will go here. And then an extra word for my week's dye works to go with, Vickie dyes to go with my glue in place, and then some more beads to go with the glue in place. Okay. These extras go with this piece that was also purchased from Rita Marie and cleared up except for a few. And this is the Scarlet House. It's a perfect world. And it says, in a perfect world, you would find me here with the birds and the flowers and the dogs and the deer. And I just feel like it's a companion piece to the I started in 2020. It reminded retreat where you go and you refuge, seeking refuge. There it is. Word association. But it reminded me of that. I do have the called for flosses. She sent me most of them. Some of them 1, 2, 3 stitch was out of, so she didn't send me those, and I was able to source them. My only concern is that I will more than likely stitch this on 36 count over 2, and this calls for 40 count 1 over 2. I will probably stitch this on 36 count 2 over 1. 2 over 2. 36 count 2 over 2. This calls for 40 count 1 over 2. I'm afraid that I won't have enough floss. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know if I'm going to try a piece of 40 count and just bite the bullet and do it, or if I'm going to go for it and then see if I end up needing to get more floss, or if I'm going to instead go for the DMC to where I can do the 2 over 1. I don't know. I don't know yet. There's a lot up in the air about this piece, but I'm leaving it all together for now until I make a decision. Well, I probably won't start that one this year, so I've got a little while to think about it. Then again, I might. I don't know. We'll see. And last and certainly not least, I got this Barbara Anna Designs 1826. The Rampant Cats sampler, All Hallows Eve, and it's Adam and Eve, but it's a Halloweeny, and they've got black cats, and I just had to have that. I don't know where I got that either, but I got it. And that's it for a haul. Connie did de-stash some stuff, and I claimed it. Part of it is to where she won't regret it later, so I'm kind of holding it for her, saying, hey, whenever you decide that you don't want to get rid of this, it's here for you. Some of it is stuff that I know she doesn't want and that I will stitch. She claims she doesn't want any of it. We'll see. I keep, every time she brings stuff to de-stash, I'm like, no, you need to keep that. No, you need to keep that. So currently I'm stitching on, my plans for next month are up in the air. They depend on the prompts. And to try to get the 2, oh, I almost forgot this. A wonderful bag from StitchNButton. It's what I have my finishes in. It's a friend's bag. Like, oh my gosh, Central Perk. With a lobster clip. Because, you know, you are my lobster, right? Come on, focus, focus. So, my plans depend on the prompts. I currently am working on my Henna Mandala. It stopped being my to-go piece because Prairie Schooler became that, and also because it was kind of hard to remember where I was the last time when I would pick it up to go. But I'm stitching on that one because you have to stitch on something that with the number 7, and Mandala has 7 letters in it. So that's what I'm currently stitching on. I need to do about 200 more stitches on that one, and then I'll pick up Starry Nights tonight. That's as far as my plans go through tonight. And I think Miss Connie's supposed to come over tomorrow and stitch some. I think we're going to work on one of our Sal pieces together. I think she picked Thankful for my cross-stitch thread, giving thanks. And I don't know. My plans are up in the air. Just plan to keep stitching. I'm not going to do a whip parade because I didn't have a lot of progress done from my whips in 2021 to 2022. So you can pretty much look at my 2021 whip parade and they're probably the same. With that said, I may or may not do one later on in the year when they're not, everybody's doing whip parades and you're not inundated with all the whip parades. We'll see. So far I'm not. I am keeping up so far with my stitching and how much I stitch on each project. I have a goal to put in 500 stitches on every project this year that I have, every current whip. So we'll see if that works. So far or finish it, because like Pugs Not Drugs didn't have 500 stitches, but I finished it. So we'll see. So far everything I touched except for Tree of Hope, I put in 500 Tree of Hope, Starry Night, Village of Run Hollow. those 3 are the only 3 that I didn't put 500 stitches in. So we'll see. We'll see if I can do it. Guys, as always, stay safe, stay healthy, and happy stitching.